Hello and welcome to another episode of two-part episode of Colleen doesn't have her shit together and forgot to film this, so she's doing it now even though these books came out today. So the first book I'm talking about today is The Porpoise by Mark Haddon. This comes out today, June the 18th. I just wanted to double check that it was today. And in Canada and probably also the US, it's the first book by Mark Haddon that I have read. I was intrigued because it looked like a retelling of myth, which is something that I love, and unfortunately I was greatly disappointed. But before we get into that, for those of you who don't know, I work at Chapters Indigo, and because of that, sometimes I get arcs from work, which is how I got this arc. Thank you to DoubleBay for sending this to my store for me to read. So the actual part of this book that was a retelling was really good. I liked it. I liked the writing style. I felt that it was cathartic and all the things that I was really looking for in this book. However, there was a part of this book that was set in the modern day that I just didn't like. I'm going to give you a synopsis of the book. By that I mean I'm going to read what's on the back. Mark Haddon's breathtaking novel begins with a harrowing plane crash. Maha, the pregnant wife of an unimaginably wealthy Philip, is killed, but their daughter, Angelique, survives. Philip's obsession with the girl's safety morphs into something sinister and grotesque. A young man named Darius visits Philip with a business proposition, encounters Angelica, and intuits their secret. He decides to rescue her, but the attempt goes awry. This contemporary story mirrors an ancient legend of Eutychus, whose love for the daughter of his dead wife was divorced by the adventure of Apollonius of Tyre. The tale appears in many forms throughout the ages. Shakespeare transforms Apollonius into the swashbuckling Pericles in his play in The Porpoise, as Angelique is trapped on her father's estate, grapples with the wreck of her life. Darius morphs into Pericles and voyaging through the mythic world. In a brilliant feat of storytelling, Haddon recounts Pericles' many exploits in thrilling fashion, mining the meaning of odd legends while creating parallels with the monstrous modern world Angelique inhabits. The language is rich and grotesque, and the conjured worlds are perfectly imagined. The plot moves forward at ferocious pace. So I disagree with half of the things that are on here. I wouldn't say the plot moves forwards at a ferocious pace. I will say that it was grotesque. I clearly didn't read all of the back when I read this. Trigger warning for sexual assault, abuse, incest. And to be honest, that third of the book just made me highly uncomfortable. And it was addressed, it was talked about. I just think it could have been talked about more. And because of that, I didn't like it. But I did finish it, which does say something about how compelling the part that is a retelling is. I also found the ending a little bit unsatisfactory. I think there could have been more. I think maybe make the story 30 pages longer and something else happen, I think would have been better. It would have been more satisfying, but you know, I respect what Haddon done with this. I rated it a 2 out of 5. Because this is the first book that I've read by him, I can't really say if you've read his other works you might like this. If you don't mind the things that I mentioned earlier and like this sort of slower storytelling, because that's what I really think it is. Like, perhaps things happen fast, but it's not in a hurry to happen, if that makes sense, then this might be a good option for you. But I would just say go into it being very mindful about the content of the book. And that's all I have to say. Thank you again to Chapters and DoubleBay for this book. I hope that those of you who pick this up do enjoy it, even though it wasn't particularly for me. And that's it for this video. I'll see you soon in my next video about the other arc that I received that comes out also today, and we'll see you then.